Queen, welcome to Undeniably African. I'm going to need you to move your microphone a little bit closer to you.
Is that
Perfect.
close enough?
Yes, that's close
Okay.
enough. Welcome to Undeniably African, Queen, Afro Poetiq Mind. King, Tino Tenda, welcome to Undeniably African.
Thank you for having us.
So, how's your, I was about to say, how's your Thursday? How's your Wednesday been? Clearly, I'm ready for the weekend.
Good. My Wednesday was awesome.
Yeah?
It was awesome, yeah.
King, how was your Wednesday?
Yeah, nice.
So, Queen, first things first. What is the story behind those earrings? They look. Are they earrings or are they pins? What's the story?
Well, the fact that they're in my ears, that means that they're earrings.
Okay.
But I have this thing. I just like being different. So I just decided to take my safety pins and then just put it in my ears, and it looked cool the first time I did it. So I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me start a trend.
You're literally gonna start a trend because
Yeah.
I'm like,
I also have here.
yeah,
as well.
I love that because I was looking, I was
Thank
like, do I have safety pins? Safety pins. Well, thanks for that because we don't have napkin pins at home, but. Thank you so much for joining us. And before we actually start the mic drop session, I just wanted to thank you for your contribution to spoken word, not just to Zimbabwe, but to Africa. I think that spoken word as an art form hasn't been celebrated or given the platform it deserves. But it's because of the work that you guys are doing and because of the accompaniments that you're doing, adding that little flavor and that touch to spoken word. So thank you so much.
And
for the work
thank
that you're
you
doing.
as well. Welcome and thank you as well for saying that.
So tell us a little bit about your journey because I think it's important for me. I find it difficult to introduce people because I'm overwhelmed by your bio because just the body and the volume of the work that you've done is phenomenal. But it's important to hear how you define yourself.
Okay.
So who are you?
Right. So I'm Afro Poetiq Mind. I'm a wordsmith. I smell letters to extract your attention from mental agitation.
There we go. See, I'm like, click on my fingers.
Thank you.
I was like, okay.
So yeah, I'm a spoken word artist. I'm a singer, songwriter. I do blues. I do jazz. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a makeup artist, and yeah, I'm just me.
All of those.
I was
things,
African, and I'm proud.
Yes,
Yeah.
and when did this start? 'Cause the thing is, it's the things that you do, they fuse so nicely into each other. What started? Was it the singing? Was it the songwriting? Was what started?
Okay, so what started was the singing. However, it took me so many years for me to be confident with my voice. So a lot of people actually know me for the poetry, and they don't know that I sing, just because I was more confident when it came to talking, but when it came to singing, now you find Kuti in public voice level and go in. And I'm like, yo, voice, what kind is going on over here?
Oh yeah,
So, yeah.
okay, I get what you mean.
Yeah, pretty much. So my journey, I started writing for as long as I can remember, because I remember when I was super young, I used to taifamba chienda kuchikoro, and I used to just recite poetry, but my poetry was different. Like, it wasn't like that from the book. You get it? It was different, and a lot of people used to laugh at me because they didn't understand, and I also didn't understand back then.
Right.
But when I was around 15, that's when I started my performance. Yeah, pretty much. And then that's when I actually started being around spoken word artists, and I began to understand that I was actually a spoken word artist.
Right. Who has been the most instrumental in your journey so far? Or like, who was the one person that you're like, wow, I want to either get to that level, or I really look up to that person or people?
So growing up, I listened to a number of people. So it was mainly vocalists, but still, when you listen to their lyrics, they're poetic. So I used to listen to a lot of Tracy Chapman, a lot of Bob Marley, and Amy Winehouse.
I love
Oh my
Amy
gosh.
Winehouse. Oh, wait, sorry, before you continue,
Yeah.
what's your favorite Amy
Rehab.
Winehouse? Shut
They
the front
try to
door.
make me go to rehab. That's my favorite.
No.
Yeah.
Love it.
So but then as I grew up now, about 4 years ago or
Okay.
3, I bumped into Dudu Manenga.
Oh.
And oh my gosh, I just fell in love with her. And thank God I bumped into her this other day. after some concert, some church concert that was going on. And I'm one of those people who are usually shy to go and say hi, but I was like, no, I got to go and say what's up.
Right.
So I went, and then
And she's so cool.
she's so cool, and she actually started mentoring me and helping me out and
Wow.
terms of advice and a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, pretty much. So I'd say Pastor Dudu Maninga is a person that I really look up to.
And she's had an incredible journey.
Very true.
For those of you that are joining us for the very first time, you're tuned into Heart and Soul Broadcasting Services. This is undeniably African, and tonight on our spoken word segment, we have got Queen Afro Poetiq Mind with King Tinotinda Munguni on accompaniment. I think we've spoken enough. Now it's time for you to do what you're here to do. Please just tell us, talk us through. And you know what, it's up to you whether you want to talk us through the piece before or after. That's really entirely up to you.
Right. So the first piece that I'm going to do is Bipolar Love. Right. So it's actually a song that I did, but I'm not going to do the singing parts.
Okay. That's fine.
So I'm just going to do the poetry parts of it. But it was basically just talking about okay, I guess when people listen to it, they will hear what it is about. But it's basically about somebody being in a relationship that's not working for them, but they are in it. They can't leave. They want to be in the relationship, but they don't want to be in the relationship.
Right.
So it's that kind of love-hate relationship going on. So yeah.
Take it away.
I cannot restore pieces of a broken me. 1,000 have fallen into the cracks, creating paths into my red creek. Some have fallen under the soils of your psychological fussiness. We are two souls with 4 broken wings. Yours were broken before. Mine were fractured by you. But we sacrifice to shadow each other while we nurse our own wounds. Sometimes I love the idea of us being messed up. You get me just as I don't get myself. You put me in this balloon of passion that I cannot escape, but you never rest from popping it, do you? Then you mend it, pop it, patch us, break us, build us, surprise me with a bouquet of thorns and breakfast in a bed of dead roses. You massage my feet with fine wine and kiss my neck with rhythm and rhyme. You make me love and hate you. I love and hate you. I want to make aggressive love to you right now, just as I want to stab you. You destruct and reconstruct my system in a split second. You sci-fi my perplexity to playing with nibbles and languages that only my skin and yours understand. Then you break me, heal me, destroy me, surprise me with a bouquet of roses and break fast in a bed of thorns.
Bipolar Love.
Bipolar Love.
Talk to me about the title and then the story behind the poem, behind the piece.
Okay, so when I was looking at bipolar, I don't know if I really don't understand the condition of bipolar, but what I know is you have probably like 2 feelings at the same time. Like there's, yeah, you could be happy and see it at the same time, or it's something that just switches in a split second.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that with this love that we have here, it's kind of like that bipolar thing going on where it just switches from I hate you, I love you, I hate you, I love you, I want to kill you, I love you, I want to be with you. You get what I mean? So that's why I came up with the title Bipolar Love.
And love is just like a series of intense
Yeah,
emotions.
exactly. But now this one is a different kind of love. It's more like a toxic love. You get it? Because it's really not normal. It's just that toxic love that's really not good for someone, but they just can't help but be in the relationship.
Right,
Yeah,
right, and
so pretty much.
they can't escape. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
they can't escape.
And before we actually started the show, you were talking about how your work is sometimes received and misunderstood. What have been some of the craziest outlandish reactions to your work,
I'm
and some of the
not.
positive
I'm not going to say.
Really?
I'm not going to say.
Is it that hectic?
I'm not going to say. Like, I have this thing where I write my things innocently, and then I'm like, listen to this piece, and then the reaction, I'm like, okay, right, I wasn't expecting this, and then so you find I can't say it in public, but
Yeah.
my God,
Like-
yeah, but you,
Wow.
yeah, pretty much.
Well, I think that's the amazing thing with artistry. Because the thing is, even when you shared the piece that we shared on social media, the response has been incredible.
Yeah.
But I think people responded where they have met themselves before they interact with your work. And King,
true.
that was beautiful strumming. What's your story, and how long have you been strumming for?
2 years now. Yeah.
Self-taught, or have you gone to school for it?
I'm going to school. I learned at Zimbabwe College of Music.
Zimbabwe College of
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah.
That is exciting. Do you sing as well, or you just play?
No, just play.
Yeah, so so I have a band. It's called New Birth,
Oh, yeah.
and he's part of the band.
Is
So
it- oh,
he
yeah.
plays the guitar and then
Nimbira.
djembes, nimbira. So yeah.
Lovely. So I know that you've performed with a wealth of different people. Chirikure, Terene Gitare, Coffee Olomide.
So I didn't perform with them. I did share stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did that for controversy's sake. Because when I skimmed through, I was like, Coffee,
Coffee,
Miguel.
yeah, that little girl, Coffee.
Chifundu.
I know.
But what has been your most memorable performance? Because you've performed on like big stages
Yeah.
already. What's been your most memorable performance?
My most memorable performance. My most memorable performance was my worst performance, actually.
Really? Where was that?
At Highfield.
Uh-huh.
So we were called by Literature Festival, so yeah, to perform there. So now I'm used to, going places and then receiving this. Okay, so first of all, when I go to place, I've noticed that people have this look that they give me, especially because I look tiny. So they have this look, and then I wow them, and then they snap and they clap. Now me, I go there, and it was like a different thing altogether. Because I remember most of my pieces are in English. And then someone, I'm trying to recite, I'm trying to focus, and then someone is like, I'm like, what is going on over here? So, for me, on the negative side, that was it.
Right.
But on the positive side, I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those people that just every performance for me is just memorable. It's epic for me. It's something that I'll be just like after the show. I have this thing of crying after every show. I'm like, what? God, is this me? Like, is this me with that gift? So for me, every show is memorable.
It's beautiful. And what is the next piece you're going to perform for us? But before we get there, we're going to make a special shout out to Queen Grace Jenika. And she says she's listening. Queen, where are you listening to us from? For those of you that are joining us for the very first time, this is Undeniably African. If you'd like to send us a message or a shout out to our guests in studio, send us a WhatsApp message to +263 73 200 4000. Connect with us on social media. That's on Instagram at HSTVZim, at Undeniably African, and on Facebook, Newsday Zimbabwe, and Heart and Soul Zim. So, Queen, what is this next piece that you're going to share with us?
So the next piece that I'm going to share with you doesn't have a title, but I'm working with a cancer trust called Cancer Serve.
Okay.
So I'm one of the young people that are fighting against cancer and everything of that sort. So they asked me to do a poem on the launch of Cancer Serve Trust.
Okay.
And so I just decided to write a poem about cancer.
Okay.
So that's a piece that I'm going to do now.
Perfect. Take it away.
She inharmoniously sings in accord with silence. For the codes of his love can no longer be decrypted. His love is war in rage that has aged her before her 52nd birthday. The joy of breathing is murdered second by second, cell by cell. The breath of life is sustained by tubes, for tumors have swallowed her ability to live independently of technology. She inharmoniously sings in accord with silence, somberly watching him uncontrollably drown her bones in cell multiplication. Terror flows in every vein till laughter sinks in the metastasis in her system. She blinks death as her grandchildren practice the laying of flowers on her grave, for this hospital ward has become a graveyard, bearing emotions that only tears can unveil. Time is an illusion that only her begins to understand. It requires 288,000. The doctor forces his tongue not to swallow those words that have already swallowed all their family well. She inharmoniously sings in accord with silence, watching her lover fondle her life so greedily. Rare to find as the exact number of stars his touch triggers galaxies to melt into sorrows. The heartbeat of this man silences heartbeats of man, a man of his word who vowed to love her to the bone. He will not die for her. Selfishly, he cares to see her release her last breath. He loves her to death, but she relentlessly resents his love for her. For 2.5 years now, their home has been wrecked. A war zone, a void, filled with fistfights, traditional medicines and weight loss, bushes of hair loss and wigs to look more feminine, crutches to straighten the limp. But now, the lump is a fully grown malignant man, a nomad, leaving every side bearing no fruit. She has nowhere to hide but within herself, yet his home is within her. Their home is her, and it is withering, wasting into the darkest spaces of the universe. His smile weathers hers. Hers is buried under regrets of being in denial, denying herself the chance to seek medical attention only till 6 months ago. But now, the lamp is a fully grown malignant man. So she just inharmoniously sings in accord with silence. For the codes of his love can no longer be decrypted, and the tween's inheritance can no longer be inherited. For her desperacy to receive healing has swallowed all their family wealth. Her long, strong, grayish, 4C hair type, and her ability to live independently of therapy. She inharmoniously sings in accord with silence and whispers to her heart, "It's time to rest now, for the codes of his love can no longer be decrypted. His love is war in rage, and she has lost this one."
Wow. Gee whiz. So, when you are commissioned to write a poem like that, I mean, it's hauntingly beautiful.
Sorry?
It's hauntingly beautiful.
Thank you.
Um,
Thanks.
and yes, it is a compliment. How do you get to express that? Have you experienced the loss of a loved one to cancer? Like, how do you dig like that deep?
I will be honest with you. I guess with arts, you begin to develop a persona. However, when I wrote this piece, I hadn't experienced it. It was just something coming because I have this thing of just putting myself in another person's shoes who doesn't exist or who I've never even had a conversation with.
Right.
And I just become that person. But now, after I wrote this piece, so I have a friend of mine who I first performed with it, who I first performed it with, and at that point, after that, she was diagnosed with cervical cancer.
Right.
And we're those kind of people who just make fun out of everything. So I remember when she told me, Kim, this is what happened. I was like, Dad, I don't know how you'll be fine. And she was actually laughing. So I remember now when she came to my place and I got to sleep over. That's when I experienced it. She was in so much pain that I couldn't understand. And I remember I was so hopeless. I was like, oh my gosh, this is real. Like I was just writing a poem, but now I'm actually seeing the real thing. And that's when my passion for researching about cancer and fighting against cancer really, really developed, because now I experienced someone. Arimba mangu, like Tiripaduze, and it was, for me, it was, I was just hopeless. It was a different experience altogether. So yeah.
And also just like the remarkable thing is, how long do you practice reciting for you to be able to remember all of that?
To be honest with you, I'm a perfectionist. So even when I came here, like I was just reciting, I was just practicing. But I have this thing where as I'm writing the poem and I go to sleep, the next day I wake up and I have the whole poem in my head. I don't know how God made me, but that's just what happens. Like I just write, and then the next thing I go to sleep, basically guaranteed, I have the whole piece in my head.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Queen King, thank you so much. And apologies for our delay. We had a bit of a technical. It's already 18 past 8. I'm lying. It's 8:15. We need to go. But where can people find you? Where do you usually perform? Do you perform every week, or what can people look out for next?
Right. So I don't want to promise anybody in terms of the performances, but they could check out my page, and my page is Afro Poetiq Mind. So it's poetic with a Q.
Right.
And also they can still follow me on my account, which is Kim Afro Poetiq Mind, and on Instagram that's Kim_Afro, and Twitter as well, Kim_Afro.
Fantastic. And last one before we go, why Afro Poetiq Mind? What's the story behind the name?
As Gaston Afro. And I'm just African and proud. So yeah. And my mind just oozes poetry.
Okay. Well, King and Queen, thank you so much for joining us on Undeniably African.
Okay, before we go, I have a gift for you.
Okay. Let's
All right.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
Do you make these as well?
No, I don't. I'm not that talented.
You asked me earlier if I grow natural hair.
Yeah, I did.
I got
That's
why.
why.
Wait till I rock these. Say, this is my gift. Thank you so much for joining us, and may God bless you.
Thank you for having us.
May you just continue sharing your story and parts of your story with your gift, because I've never heard cancer articulated in that way, and it made me whoa. Just that there are no clinics here, but it was really beautiful. Thank you so much again for the contribution that you're doing. There is no such thing as a small contribution, because the next generation is going to be able to learn and grasp more because of what you guys are doing. So don't stop. We look forward to welcoming King Tinotenda back in studio with his work, his music. Said when my Grammys. We'll be here. Absolute last. You can't come on radio. What is it? Shout out.
Shout out.
We need a shout out. Who would you like to send a shout out to?
I just want to send a shout out to my family. I don't know if I'm supposed to say their whole names because I actually Gurumandira. I just want to send a shout out to my family, my mom and my dad, and my band New Birth, and every member, and everybody who's been supporting me throughout. My best friend Lissa, oh my gosh, she's just so supportive. So
That's beautiful.
very much.
King, any shout outs?
Yeah, I will say shout out to my family, my friends at Zimbabwe College of Music, and yeah, to the Chabayo.
And like I said, a special shout out to Heart and Soul Broadcasting Services. Shout out to Bossy, Queen Olga. Thank you so much for believing in all of us. You're listening to Undeniably African. We're going to be back on air on Sunday from 12 to 3. We've got an exciting show lined up. As always, we've got our Undeniably African Book Club. We also have our Unsung, and we've got a special segment that we're going to be introducing to coach Africa's great minds for you to know your purpose. Because like we said earlier, where purpose and vision is unknown, abuse is inevitable. So self-abuse and self-inflicted forms of delay are no longer permitted, because we've got a lot of work to do to get our nations and our people to